From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the PrimeTime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. It is Friday, my favorite day of the week, and let's just jump right on into it. We have ourselves some really, really good games today and everything. And first, let's go ahead and just talk a little bit about last night. We wound up being a pretty good game between the Cardinals and the Packers, another Thursday night thriller as well too. So I know a lot of us were excited to see that and all that good stuff. It was a hell of a game last night. Wound up being one of those games where pretty much you get yourself, you just sit down, enjoy what's in front of you, because the NFL is just absolutely incredible this season when it comes to the primetime games this year as well. So it's just a very fun season to be a part of this year, to be honest with you. I think that a lot of us really are enjoying the season in full, because, it's one of those seasons where you have a lot of games that come down to the last minute. And this one really did live up to the billing that it was supposed to be last night. You got a 7-0 team in the Cardinals going against the Packers, who were 6-1. But honestly, though, I'll be dead honest with you guys, though. I think what happened last night pretty much was a foregone conclusion. And a lot of us who know how this thing works knew that the Packers would probably be the winner of this game, because, you got Aaron Rodgers, savvy vet. It's Thursday night football. It's something that he usually plays well at. Arizona's not your normal undefeated team, or, just because who they are, pretty much point blank over the years and things like that. Arizona's not one of the teams you think about in the NFL, when it comes down to who really is the best of the best in the league and all that good stuff. And they're having themselves a really outer body situation this season. And I think that, like we talked about yesterday, yesterday with Jeff and with Mike, is that, you had Kyler Murray coming into the game super beat up. You just lost J.J. Watt for the season. There were a lot of things working against the Cardinals last night, but there were things working against the Packers as well too. Their best receiver, Devontae Adams, was out because of COVID, and then their second best receiver was out because of COVID as well too. So what Aaron Rodgers had to do was lean on an old friend of his, a guy that's been with him for a decade plus, and that's Randall Cobb last night, who was able to catch 2 touchdowns. So, I just think that all in all, Aaron Rodgers is more prepared for this game than Kyler Murray was, because he's been here multiple times. And I think that's exactly what occurred in the spot. And, Arizona was very close to winning the game. All A.J. Green really does have to do is turn around, and possibly he'll be able to catch the ball. But that was great coverage by the corner as well too. And I think that was kind of a cop. I wouldn't say a cop out or anything by Murray, but I think that he could have made a better decision. But when your foot is throbbing and hurting, what can you do? I think he kind of wanted out of that game last night, and that's why he just went ahead and threw that ball up there kind of recklessly, in a sense, because his guy is never looked like he was turning around. And a lot of people said that maybe he didn't know what the play was. He thought it was a run play. I just think that, when miscommunications happen, you're going to always come up with those excuses. But what I say is great defensive play by the cornerback who made the play last night. And that's what this game is all about, is about making plays. You know what I mean? People can have all the excuses in the world, but you have to make plays in this league, and that's exactly what the Packers did last night, and that's why they wound up being the winners of the game last night as well too. So great game great game last night. I was glad that it went the way it did. And everything in the NFL right now is fun, in my opinion, at these first 8 weeks. You got teams that are bad, but you got a lot of really good teams in this league as well too. And I think the second half of the season is going to be a lot of parity and a lot of fun and a lot of surprises as well too, because the first half of the season there were some surprises here and there, but it was fairly formful. First half of the season, a lot of the teams that you knew who were going to be really good are really good, and a lot of teams that you knew were going to be really bad are really bad. And some of the Midland teams are much better than what they are advertised, and some of the Midland teams are below expectations. So it is what it is at the end of the day. But great game last night. I enjoyed it, and I look forward to some more great games on Sunday as well too. All right, so that's our kicking off the show right there. We got college football Friday night lights tonight. The first game that we have up is going to be the Navy at Tulsa. Navy coming in here plus 325, plus 11 on the spread. Very, very live dog in this spot. Navy always plays everybody tough. And Tulsa, to me, Tulsa really has no business being an 11-point favorite in a game like this, because they can easily be beat by a Navy team that actually has held their own in big games this season, that most thought that they would have probably got the floor wiped with them, but they didn't. They stepped it up. They've had some big moments, some big games. And last night we kind of went out on a limb and we took South Florida with the money line. Tonight, I will say this: you can still do the money line, everything like that, but I think the best play is to look at the scoreboard tonight. And I have my play for you guys in just a moment when we get to talking tickets. But all in all, though, this should be a really good game. Kicks off at 4:30 this afternoon Pacific time. So be ready for that. Navy at Tulsa, another American Athletic Conference showdown. So this should be a fun one, and hopefully we go ahead and everything works out for us in the betting category in that spot. Now we do have the Battle of the Silver State tonight, between the University of Nevada, Las Vegas going against the University of Nevada, Reno. So you got the two major colleges in the state renewing their rivalry game. This time it's going to be up in Reno at the Wolfpack's house, and I think this one will wind up being much better than it looks on paper, because what they're pretty much saying is that Nevada should pretty much roll in this one, but UNLV is shown to be kind of a pesky team when it comes to games like this, and they've been able to cover a lot this season, and they've been a real good go-to team. But Nevada is playing some pretty good football this year. They are coming off of a very close loss to Fresno as well too. But as we all know, UNLV played Fresno to pretty much even the whole game until the end, and they only lost by a few points. So this game actually is something that could work in UNLV's favor, who a few years back as a double-digit dog went ahead and got a monster win over Nevada. So Nevada knows that they can't just go to sleep on UNLV. This is still UNLV, a big rival. So the 20 makes total sense in the fact because they're at home, but that means absolutely nothing. I think that this game is much closer, and I think that UNLV will show up today, and hopefully everything works out the way that we want it to work out, because the plus 20 is very good. It's a very good value to start a game off with. So if you up 20 points already, you don't have to worry about much until they start really scoring touchdowns. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But UNLV at Nevada, this is going to be a good one tonight. I think that a lot of us are going to be tuned into it as well, too. It's a later game tonight. It's going to be at 7 o'clock. So it should bring the drama. And I think that, pretty much it's a good high value spot for a lot of bettors here, especially in an in-state rivalry game where you really can't, where everything's really unpredictable. So there it is. There it is. UNLV and the University of Nevada, Reno. It's going to be on and popping tonight. You know what I mean? You got the Rebels going against the Wolfpack. So hopefully the Rebels will be hunting a little bit tonight as well, too, and not be the hunted. So let's move on, talk about game 3 of the World Series real quick. We have the World Series tonight tied up 1-1. We got two really good teams here. We have the Braves, who have ascended to the World Series just like their counterparts in the NL East a few years back, when the Nats were able to make the move and win an unprecedented World Series as the lowest win team in the group. And then you have the Astros, as I told you guys all season, were strong and were always the team that you were going to have to think about being in the World Series, even though the AL East was so dominant this year. The Astros were just that good of a team this season, to the point to where you kind of had this idea that they would be the representative for the AL in the World Series, because they have a lot of experience and they have a lot of guys who are just winning time players at the same time too. So, the Astros are going to be the favorite throughout this whole series. But tonight, the Braves are actually the favorite because it is the first game in Atlanta. But to me, who scores first wins the game, in my opinion. And I think this is more of a scoreboard watch game. I really can't call who the winner is going to be tonight, because the way that the game is shaping up, to me, it looks like it's going to be some good hitting going on, and it's going to go back and forth as well too. So it's Friday night. Expect a really good World Series game tonight if you are going to be participating and watching that tonight. And expect something epic. That's all I can say. But World Series game 3 should be really, really good. It should be live up to beyond expectations tonight. You got a very fun Atlanta base that's going to be making noise all night long, and then you have a very good pitching staff for Atlanta as well too. Has done a very good job, even though they did get blown up on Wednesday. Still, they've done a great job throughout the this whole last 3 or 4 weeks, and if they can sustain, then the Astros could be in some trouble today. But I really truly think that the Astros can overcome anything, and I think after getting the wake-up call in game 1 and then being probably the best road team in the playoffs left over, I think it's going to wind up being a very, 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 very intriguing 3-game series this weekend, because that's pretty much what it is right now, is a 3-game series in Atlanta. And if you wind up, and if both teams win, we get back to Houston. But this could be the end of the MLB season this weekend as well too, so you have to prepare yourself for that. But I highly doubt it. I think that this is a 7-game series, but we will see how it goes. So there it is with World Series game 3 tonight. Astros minus 105, Braves minus 115, over under 8.5. Ian Anderson's going to be pitching for the Braves tonight, and we got Luis Garcia pitching for the Astros tonight. So there it is. There it is. When I get back, I'm going to be talking state of the Lakers and the NBA. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll Have Another, and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to this week's science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, here we are. It is time for the NBA, my favorite sport. I love the way the ball dribbles up and down the court. So, state of the Lakers, the Lakers have a game tonight against LeBron's former team, the team that he literally made his whole career with. But, they're still not going to get any of the credit when it comes to the actual big winning part of LeBron James's career, except for that 2016 World Championship that he did bring the city of Cleveland. But tonight it's the Cavs. And the Cavs, to be honest with you, have had a pretty good run as a bad team against the Lakers in LA. A few years back, I do remember they did get themselves a monster win that nobody saw it coming. This was back in 2000. This was in LeBron's first season with the Lakers. The next year, the Lakers did go ahead, and I think they were able to. No, the COVID knocked that game out. That game out. So we come back next year, the year after that, the Lakers did get a nice little win against the Cavs, but the Cavs always play this game very tough. And the Cavs coming to this game winners of 2 in a row, and they are high quality wins as well too. They beat the Clippers and they also beat the Denver Nuggets, and this was literally on back-to-back nights as well too. So they've got themselves some pretty good rest over the last few days as well too. They played their last game Wednesday night. So, they were able to have an off day and get to see LA and, have some fun and things like that and maybe get a little distracted, So this might work out in the Lakers' favor, but they only gave up 79 points the other night, too. The lowest amount of points scored by an NBA team all season this year as well. So you can't really sleep on the Cavs when it comes down to it. They were able to and they held the Nuggets to 87 points as well too. So they're playing better defense on this road trip right now. And you get a day off, and after you get 2 really good double-digit wins that they just got, then you got some confidence coming into the game tonight. Now, the status of LeBron James is still up in the air. I don't know if he's to go tonight. I know that he did miss both games on the back-to-back, but he always wants to get up for his old team, the Cavs, and I think that if he's able to go tonight, he should have a pretty big game. But right now, though, it looks like that we got AD ready to roll. He has some knee issues, but he's ready to roll. And Malik Monk came up big both games in the road trip. Even though the Lakers did lose the second game, he's showing some good signs of being a very high-end role player. And Westbrook was able to get a triple-double like he usually does, a stat that he's 148 and 47 with. And pretty much that means he's won a lot of games when getting a triple-double, but he didn't win the game the other night. So, hey, just got to deal with it, right? So the Lakers should bounce back tonight. They got their first home win of the season on Sunday, and were able to get their first road win on Monday, and then on Tuesday, and then as you guys know, what happened in the Thunder game. So pretty much the Lakers tonight want to bounce back from a very bad loss in OKC. The team was up 26 points and still lost the game. Only scored 43 points in the second half. They're going to have to make the adjustments to be better today because the Cavs seem to be in a defensive mode right now, and you do not want to be caught in that. You don't want to get caught in that web today. I don't think you do. You know what I mean? You have to take the Cavs seriously like they're a top team in the East, and I think that's what will help the Lakers win this game tonight if they go about it that way. So there it is. That's the state of the Lakers. Lakers game starts tonight at 7 p.m. at Staples Center. And hopefully the Lakers go ahead and they take care of their business. Right now, they aren't a monster favorite in this game because I think everybody has gotten the memo that this team isn't as bad as you want them to be. The Cavaliers, they're 3-2 on the season, and winners of their last two in a row. They're plus 7.5 tonight, and also on the value play, they're plus 240. The Lakers are a minus 300 when it comes to the money line. You have an over under a 221.5. The Lakers games, most have all went over, so the over will probably be the big bet here in this game today. But game starts at 7:30. Be ready. Lakers, Cavaliers, live from the Staples Center. All right, so we move on to our first game, and it's going to be a good one. This is going to be the Heat and the Hornets, and the Heat and the Hornets coming here with their eyes set on who's going to be the winner of the NBA Southeast Division. Now you got a Hornets team that comes in here plus 170 tonight. Also the Heat are minus 200. Now you got to have the Heat as a 6-point favorite, but I do know that this spread will go down and probably go off at like a 5, 4.5 because the Hornets are much better this season than they've been probably ever. They're 4-1 to start the year off, probably their best start since becoming a Charlotte franchise again. Also, the Heat coming here 3-1 with a big win over the Nets the other night as well too. So they're feeling really good about themselves as well too. And both teams are well rested because the Hornets got a good win in Orlando. They beat them by 9. So this one is is a good little duel here between two teams that have some very, very intriguing players. You got Jimmy Butler on the Heat. You got LaMelo Ball on the Hornets. These guys are NBA personalities, faces of the league. So it should be a pretty good duel between these two teams who look to vie for the division championship this year. But you got a lot of good teams in the Southeast. The Southeast could possibly be the best division in basketball right now because you have the Hawks there as well too. Now the only blemish you have there is the Orlando Magic, but eventually they'll come along. They'll get it together. I think that's a team that we all need to start realizing that at some point they're going to get it together. Okay, so pretty much with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next spot, and it's going to be a pretty good one. This one is going to be our next game up is going to be the Pacers at the Nets. This one is going to be the game in Brooklyn tonight. And what I can see here is you have a Nets team who's trading off losses and wins. They are right now 2-3 on the year. And I say trading off losses and wins because they lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. That's been their first 5 games of the year. Now you have a Pacers team that's came out and they've lost their first 4 out of 5 games this season. And that's kind of surprising because you thought that possibly the Pacers could be a much better team, with Turner and Brogdon and Sabonis and all these really good players that they have who were coming of age last year. But I think after that playoff series that they had last season, they showed some flaws in this group, and they showed that they can absolutely get, sent through the wood chipper if they don't play 100%. Now, James Harden is looking to have a big game eventually. A lot of people getting on his case right now because they're not seeing the 30, 40-point games, but he is coming back from a hamstring injury as well, too. And as he said, he wasn't able to train properly this year. So it's going to take a while for him to be a lethal scorer. But what he really wants to do is just get his team W. So that's what it's really all about at the end of the day in the NBA. So what I see here in this game, I think that this one winds up being a scoreboard watch, and I think we wind up getting the over in this spot. So we got the Nets and Pacers tonight in Brooklyn. It should be a good one. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. It should be, one of the better games of the night. All right, so we move on, and we have ourselves the Kings and the Pelicans. The Kings and Pelicans, both teams are kind of going through the motions a little bit. You got a Kings team right now that's 2-2. Pelicans dropped their first 4 out of 5 games, lost the other night on national television to Atlanta by 3. And you got a Kings team that got one of their biggest wins of the season with a 3-point win over the Suns in Phoenix. Also got a opening night win over Portland in Portland as well too. So the team is showing that they're pretty good on the road. And guess where they're at tonight? They're on the road. They're a 1.5 point favorite as well too tonight. Minus 120 on the spread as well too. I mean, on the money line, over 221.5. I think that this is a good spot to jump on the Kings here. They're outscoring the Pelicans by 10 points when it comes down to points scored. They're shooting better than the Pelicans right now as well too. And a lot of things just work out more into the Kings' favor, even though you do have a Pelicans team that does have a rash of injuries right now that is kind of holding that team up. But I still think Sacramento has enough to win this game tonight, and that's why I say take Sacramento with the minus 120 tonight. It should be a very, very good bet for you. All right, so we move on to our next spot, which is going to be the Mavs at the Nuggets. Mavs coming into this one 3-1, and you have the Nuggets 2-2. Nuggets won their first 2 games of the season. They've dropped their last 2 games of the season. Yeah, the Mavericks, who lost opening night to the Hawks, have won their last 3 in a row. These teams are not too far apart, though, when it comes to scoring and when it comes to their free throw percentages as well, too, 3-point percentage, all that good stuff. Now, you got Dallas, who's made a couple more threes than Denver has, but all in all, that shouldn't outweigh anything here. This is a very even game, and you got Jokic, who's kind of dealing with an injury tonight, and you got Porzingis, who's not going to play tonight. So that's just a heads up. If you thought Porzingis was in, he is not in this game tonight. You have the Nuggets being a minus 130 tonight as well too, with the plus 105 to the Mavericks, and then you're 2.5 points on the spread. So you got a low score, you got a low over under here as well too, and that rightfully so, because both these teams do play defense. So that's why you got the low scoring here. And I think what happens here is that, pretty much we get ourselves a game that is going to take the final minutes to actually go ahead and finish up. You know what I mean? I think that it could be a possible overtime game tonight as well too. So be ready for that. Dallas should be a very, very intriguing matchup. So I look forward to this one as well, and we'll see how it goes, and we move on from there. All right, so we have our nightcap, which is going to be the Clippers and the Blazers, and this game is going to be in Portland tonight. The Clippers are not going to be a good team until they get back their leader, Kawhi Leonard. Right now, the Clippers are 1-3. Not surprised by that. And, the Clippers got rid of a lot of their players that made them a very intriguing championship type team. You know what I mean? I think losing Pat Beverly, but he had to go after the incident with Chris Paul, is going to really, 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 really mess your team up down the road. You know what I mean? Because he's an emotional leader. It's something that the Clippers never had either. So, they go into this game. They just lost to the Cavaliers. A lot of people were surprised by that, but you shouldn't be surprised from a team that has not started the season well. Golden State beat them by 2, then Memphis beats them by 6. Then they get a 30-point win against Portland the other night, and then the Cavs come in there and beat them by 13. So, they're overlooking bad teams, and then they're just keeping up with the good teams. So it's going to be a while before the Clippers consistently start winning basketball games this season, but it may be too late by the time that happens as well too. So we'll see how it goes for them for the rest of the year. But tonight, this is more of a scoreboard watch for me as well too. I think that after getting your butt whooped by 30 points, you should come back around and have yourself a pretty good game tonight if you're the Blazers, right? So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we get the under 223 tonight, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that is our nightcap. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our final subject in hand, and that's going to be one that I love, and it's going to be Talkin Tickets. And, I love me some Talkin Tickets because, what we do with Talkin Tickets, we try to go ahead and cash out some big numbers, so we can keep the fun going. All right, so we have the CFB Friday Night Lights bets. I got the over 46.5 in the Navy Tulsa game, plus 20 on UNLV tonight. Then we also have the NBA Super High Five, 34-1. Hornets plus 180. That is my dog of the day. Over 222.5. Pacers Nets. Kings money line minus 125. Nuggets minus 2.5. And then the under 222.5 with the Clippers and the Blazers. Single what you like, 34-1 ticket with that. And then with our World Series game 3 bets, I'm going with the over 8.5 runs, then the under 4.5 runs for the first 5 innings. I feel like we'll probably have a slow game to start, but then it will pick up in the second half of the game, and we'll get to the number that we need, which is over 8.5. And then I have the Braves under 4.5 for the game tonight. So that's their team total, and I have no score going in the first inning as well, too. So there it goes. Those are your bets for Friday. You guys be on the lookout for the world famous bets list as well, too. You guys already know I have every conference bets list up for Saturday. Also, a bunch of tickets for Saturday as well, too. The Rise and Shine pick 6, the Dog Day pick 4, the Bailout pick 4, and also the Dirty Dozen jackpot. So be ready for all that. And as always, as I tell you guys all the time, if you got a hunch, bet a bunch. Always bet with your head, not with your heart. And the movement is moving. I am your host, the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live, and I am
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production